Also, I want to start with you because your previous movies like French Exit and The Lovers, they're so great at finding humor and heart in these complicated characters. I'm sort of curious what the initial spark or idea was for this story. Was it the story? Was it these characters? Was it a combination of both? And how did that sort of develop?
Well, thank you for having us. I would say that I had a bunch of. I'm somebody that walks around New York City sketching different ideas that I feel like are very disparate stories, and then one day I realized, these very different stories are actually different people all in the same family under the same house, and absolutely relating to what I've been going through in my own personal life, just with my parents, but also just trying to bring in something that I love doing, filmmaking, into something that's been very confusing and the opposite of kind of how filmmaking is in terms of giving me some sense of control. Yeah, and then I'd say like in the very early, maybe 15, 20 pages in, I realized that I was writing for these four.
Wow.
The truth is that I'm just big fans of theirs, and they're somebody that like I hold on to people that I feel, even if it's in my mind, like I just hold on to them in my mind. So I just realized like I was hearing them, I was imagining their eyes, I was imagining what they could do in these roles, and I aimed to the top, and I didn't think of a plan B.
So you knew them, but did you tell them you were writing this for them?
I did, which I know is... I told them after I was finished with the script. I wrote them all, and I definitely thought that it could come off strange just hearing like, I wrote this script with you in mind. But I also wrote them... I sent them the hard copy of the script with a letter saying, hey, if this resonates with you, what I promise is that we'll shoot this on film, we'll shoot this on location, we'll shoot this in order as much as possible. Well, I'll final cut, and that this will be a group together. It'll begin and end with us as like fellow filmmakers, and every step of the way we'd kind of work in tandem with each other. I really just wanted this to be the base, and for us to feel like we had a complete control and trust with each other and the project.
And Azazel, you have this murderer's row of talent, and I should also mention the great J.O. Sanders, who isn't here, but is so amazing in that scene. I'm curious, once they all said yes, did you find yourself writing more towards the characters? Did they change at all? Did you sort of incorporate, was it a collaborative process, or was it pretty much the script you had from the start?
Yeah, the script was finished. The script was done, and that was one of the nice things. I'm somebody that I'm usually open to going that way, but this kind of came from such an urgency for myself that I really wanted this to be what we all agree upon, and they all did. And then the other things, the spaces, the places, how we move in this space, that was us. That was really just figuring out how does this coexist, and how does this work, and where's this the push and pull and everything. Talking to them about the framing, like really trying to realize that their experience is not just like just from this viewpoint of or the viewpoint from acting is not just like this thing that needs to be protected from production, because they have so much experience in production that I could talk to them about what my approach as a filmmaker and what I was thinking about this, and how having a different conversation. Like, it was the first film that I really saw them in a way that I just wasn't afraid of opening that up and just kind of talking it through and hearing and kind of getting that language together. That being said, whatever was in my mind would be completely erased the moment we were shooting and I was watching what was going on. There was no other memory suddenly, because I was seeing it just happening in front of me, and I cannot tell you how moving it was constantly just to say, it would just disappear. Whatever preconceptions, if I had them, they just felt like, oh no, they're this, what we just did.
But I love that you could roll with that too, and admit that, frankly.
It was like, it's the gift of gifts. I mean,
yeah. Ozzy, you also are incredibly, if you can't already tell, super warm and inviting, and you, the way you treat everyone with kindness, I think, is already so disarming, and creates a really healthy environment and a creative environment for everyone. And then there was a time, I think, when we were asking you too many questions, talking too quickly, and you were like, I I process things differently than you do, but trust me. Like, if you could just trust me and be a little patient with me, we'll be good. And I think it's really hard for people to say anything remotely like that.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard for people to say, this is where we're different, but I hear you and I see you and I respect it. I'm going to ask you to do the same for me. And like, already you're just kind of on equal footing, and it's an amazing creative environment.